So quite recently, we as SGS had another unique opportunity to return back to one of my favourite locations, the famous Skirrid Inn. And after all the years of being lucky enough to visit, travel and investigate so many amazing locations around the UK, I can confidently say that the Skirrid is definitely up there in amongst my top 3, and from what I and the team most recently experienced doing an investigation, leads me to say that this is definitely one of the most haunted places that I've been to. So I don't want to go into the actual history side of the place itself, or even talk about the general investigation of what we experienced, because I want to get straight onto now and show you and play for you this one particular piece of evidence and activity that we all encountered real time during the investigation. So what you're actually watching now is footage taken from our live stream episode that we carried out on the night of the investigation. Those of you that tuned in, joined us and followed us through the night through our live stream, just want to say thank you so much, especially for those that stayed up until about 4:30, 4:45 until we actually finished. So just a quick note to say thank you so much for all your comments and posts for the whole night. It was a very active and enjoyable night, and I'm glad that you joined us, so thank you for that. As a quick background now before you start to watch this footage with audio as to what happened that led up to this amazing piece of activity happening, just to say that Lee went outside, started to take a few photos and finishing the whole live stream session by wrapping everything up, thanking the viewers for tuning in and wanting the pub as a backdrop, whilst inside it left 4 investigators including myself downstairs in the bar area just calling out, investigating before Lee was to come back inside and we just wrap everything up, whilst leaving 2 other investigators upstairs in bedroom number 2 just finishing the night off. Whilst all this was taking place, this is where this incredible and amazing, mind-blowing piece of activity occurred. I'm not going to go into this too much now. I'm going to play you the live footage with the audio. This is when Lee came back inside. We told him what had just gone on, and he's now started recording again as just a last minute thing to capture this real time as much as he could of what happened. One other quick thing just before you watch this is that when you get to the part that you're listening to the voice recorder and what is on there, just please bearing in mind that that audio is actually being played through a voice recorder speaker, then being transferred through the audio equipment of the live streaming equipment, etc. So to be watching that now, and when you listen to what you'll know in just a moment, then please don't get a bit disheartened by that, to think that it's not coming through as very clear, or it could be something else, because after you watch this footage and listen to this is just giving you an overview of what happened. I am going to be playing to you the raw real-time audio through my own personal voice recorder, so it's a lot clearer, as you will be able to then appreciate everything in more detail, which I'll come on to explain in just a moment.
We just shut live streaming off, but while I was outside closing the whole live streaming thing down and sort of winding down, the guys in there caught something quite strange on the voice recorder. So I'm doing this more for sort of logging it than anything else, but I'll get Dave to play you the voice recording back.
Should you say what happened?
Yeah, I'll just turn the camera on, mate.
It's going, is it?
We're on, mate. We're live. Yeah, there's 6 people on as well. You people,
guys, you can't just comment.
You need to go to bed.
Please. Oh yeah, you do need to go to bed.
No, come on. Whoever's online, can you just
make a quick comment, just to
yeah, give us a little comment, because I know it's we generally just packed up for the night, and we were just going to sit here for another hour or so on our own, see if we can get anything. And I was at the front, like I said, wrapping up, doing my cringy goodbye bit, and yeah, we'll play the Jace.
Do you want to explain, Dave? Or
no, you go ahead.
Alright, well, Lee was outside taking a few photos and everything else, so we were just in here calling out a little bit, literally coming to the end, just packing up, winding it down and everything, and Dave, we do this quite a lot actually, don't we? Have you ever had a response from it?
No, never again.
I have.
I've never had a response.
Yeah, me and Dan have a few times, yeah. At the Ram. Ram Inn
Was
and
it?
places like that. Yeah, we've had quite a clear response doing that. So yeah, it's worked in the past.
Yeah, I don't know who started it or who invented it or whatever, but Dave just out of the blue just came up and said, "Can you copy what I'm doing?" And he whistled. What did you do?
When
I was hoping that actually, because this is exactly what happened. Dave just said, "Can you copy that?" Literally a couple of seconds, and we had a reply, a response, exactly the same as a reply whistle, and it just copied exactly what he did. The tone, and at first, I thought it was Dave. He did 3 whistles, like did and then did it again. But when we just spoke about it, it was just that surreal. It was that, wasn't it? It was that clear that it was as if it had to be one of us. But we've just played the recording back now. Dave's just had a little listen, and it's actually caught on there. And it sounded at first as if it was like a one tone. When Dave went, "Can you copy that?" and then it just went. I thought it sounded like that at first, but listening to it back now, there's actually 2. So it's copied the 2-tone whistle reply. The second one is a little bit more faint, but have a listen to this. Listen to how clear.
You can hear us the distance as well, though, can't you?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
it's definitely the other side of the bar.
Can you whistle? Can you copy this?
Don't know how loud and clear that is in this video.
I'll
Andy's
rewind it
just
one more
radio
time.
through. Do you want to?
Can you whistle? Can you copy this? Did you hear that?
I have to rewind it because of the door. Do it one more time.
Can you copy? Can you whistle? Can you copy this?
That's clear.
That is clear.
Is clear.
That is clear.
Yeah, you just did that again, did you, Dave? Shut up.
He couldn't get any more Welsh, could he, with his reply?
No. So it's definitely 100% response.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So it came. You reckon it came from?
It came from out there,
It
yeah.
came from just behind the bar.
bar, I would say.
You alright?
Yeah. He's wondering if we whistled. So I was like, yeah, that's us.
What? Just then?
Mm.
Oh yeah, no, it was me, wasn't it? Trying to recreate.
Yeah.
How I don't know what that's kind of like. Are we still going? I don't know if we're still going.
There's no one's commented. If anyone is online, can you just comment?
If they heard that second reply.
Okay, they're coming down. But at least that's caught on yours. It's going to be caught on ours as
Yeah.
well. So I mean, it may even be a bit clearer on maybe others, maybe. But
It's definitely great response.
So now that you've just watched the footage actually taken from the live stream, as crazy as that may sound, and I know that you're probably going to have doubts, especially the skeptics among you who are thinking there's no way what you're saying that could have happened, etc, etc, please now have a listen to, this is the raw file taken off my voice recorder for you to appreciate how loud and clear and as to how this was at the time. What you're listening to now is from Dave doing the whistle, and the whistle then happening. I've deliberately let the recorder run on a bit and put this on here for you to hear what happened after that, to appreciate just how this all was real time as to what went on, as far as where we were, what we did after it, and so you can try and imagine how this was with us. So have a listen to this. I'm going to come back and talk about that whistle and as to why I'm 100% putting this down to paranormal, probably debunking a lot of your questions and queries, what you may be thinking of now, as to try and make reason as to why this could not no way be paranormal, because it is just such an incredible feat of what we witnessed and encountered on the time, and it is one of these too good to be true things because of how loud and how clear and just how impossible that was. But I'm going to come back and talk about that in just a moment.
Can you whistle? Can you copy this?
Did you hear that?
You just did that again, did you, Dave?
No.
No.
You didn't.
Shut up.
Whistled the first time and the whistle came back. Where's Lee?
I heard that single whistle then.
Yeah.
No one did that, no?
No one did.
Lee,
That
was
came
it?
from over there.
Honestly,
That's
no.
what I thought it sounded like.
Yeah,
It was
no,
okay.
I thought that was
over there.
you just repeating it again.
No.
That was 100% a whistle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was it.
Oh my god.
It wasn't Lee though. Lee wouldn't do
I
that.
can't believe that. He's outside, isn't he?
No, I don't reckon
No.
he'd do that either. If that was you, thank you very much. That was fantastic.
I can see him, he's outside.
Can you try to do that again for us, please? You copy Dave.
That was too good to be true. He's taking photos outside.
Yeah.
That's, for me, I sounded like over there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Come from
All
over
the
there.
same area, yeah?
Yeah, without a doubt.
So hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea as to what happened and what went on. So to give you an idea of what we actually experienced at that time of what happened, even me thinking back on it now and replaying it and listening to that, even at that time it was just such an incredible and surreal moment to think that, you know, we were there, we witnessed something happen that defies just the possible, and it literally is impossible. There's lots of different reasons now as to why I am putting this down to paranormal. A big thing with me, and I suppose a lot of paranormal investigators, is that as an investigator, the first thing is what to do is to try and debunk any potential activity at all. You know, I do believe that a lot of this potential or supposed activity is down to a lot of logic, a lot of reasoning, whether it be science or whether it be influence from something else. Not necessarily it's paranormal, but it's some other factor that creates this kind of supposed phenomenon that people think that they're experiencing and witnessing when really it's not. We talked about the machines in the pub itself. Yes, there are machines that are in the Skirrid that constantly work through the night. For example, there's a few external noises that come from the men's toilets that are working in there. You've also got an ice machine that is located in the bar area, which, yes, they do make noises randomly through the night. However, we have become accustomed to those noises, and there is a pattern to those noises, and they are the same as the working, etc. So to listen to this, yes, it was a concern at the first as to what this was, but after listening to everything, after really analysing the sounds of the machinery in the pub as to what this could have been through past investigations and current ones, especially from that night, we can definitely rule out the machinery of the pub itself. Another factor we took into consideration was the external noises. Within the pub itself, we kind of shut everything down, meaning that there were no doors open, there were no windows open at all. Any noise pollution that would have potentially come from outside would have not been heard inside. Even if a car drives past the pub, yes, you can hear it, etc. But as far as people talking outside of the pub itself, you cannot hear people from outside. Yes, if they shout or whatever, obviously it's going to come into it then, but as far as general talking, etc., you will not hear that, and that's also proven from Lee being outside talking on the live stream, wrapping everything up, and you could not hear him from outside. So that's the outside noise pollution influences. We could definitely rule that 100% out. Also bearing in mind this was 4:30 in the morning, but as far as external noises or sounds, it was definitely nothing that came from outside, and to kind of tie in with everything, yes, it was a sound that came from inside the pub in the bar area, which we all agreed it came from in the same place as well. Also regarding the external noises, during the time that Lee was outside finishing everything off, left 4 of us in the bar area, which the 4 of us experienced this real time, whilst it left 2 other people upstairs in bedroom number 2. Now, bedroom number 2 is located quite a distance from the bar area itself, and even with those 2 investigators in room number 2, even by them talking at that time, they could not hear us downstairs, neither could we hear them upstairs. Just to validate this even more and double check, after we spoke to Andy and Beth, who were upstairs at the time, we just got to check that did they at all make a whistle, or did they whistle at all. The answer was no, so we just wanted to rule that out just in case. If they had whistled and copied a similar type of technique that we used at the time, we would have then duplicated it and replicated it to try and get that noise pollution if it travelled down, and that's what it was. We could have used that to debunk it, but the fact is that none of them whistled during that time, even when they were calling out upstairs, and even them talking, so that ruled that noise pollution out from them coming upstairs alone as well. Just to quickly talk about coincidence as well, just before Dave started calling out and asking for the whistle to be copied from him, literally a couple of minutes before, you can hear me on the voice recorder actually say and talk to whoever may have been in the pub with us that the cameras are no longer rolling, so because Lee's outside, and you can hear me deliberately say that. So if anybody was to do anything for us at the time, then they're not going to be caught on film or on camera or whatever. Now, coincidentally, a few minutes later, we get this activity of the whistle. I'm not saying that that's 100% fact or coincidence, that that's why it happened because Lee was outside and the spirits or whoever were there knew that, and that's why they presented themselves to us in some way. I'm not really saying that at all, but at the same time I am, because you just never know. And again, I've got to go on coincidence in past investigations where I have deliberately turned my video camera off from rolling. Up until that point, it's been quite quiet as far as activity, but you know, a few minutes later, then the activity starts, the interaction with the equipment happens, we have objects moving, etc., whereas we didn't get that when the room was being filmed. So you just don't know, but I just wanted to throw that in there as far as coincidence, is that when Lee went outside, the only time that he went outside, that's when we had this amazing phenomena happen. So just to wrap everything up, for me personally, this is the most validating and compelling situation when I look back and think about everything, when analysing everything, as to why I'm more intrigued personally about this particular incident amongst everything else. The photo that you're looking at now, you can see the bar area where you have the fireplace in the middle. If you look to the left, you can see a few tables. Towards the top, or towards the left-hand side of the fireplace, you can see a kind of bench area and a table next to it with a few chairs. Now, in that particular photo, that's where Damien and Rachel were sat during the whole calling out. Just next to that, there's another little table. That's where Dave would have been sat, and then going further on down, if you look towards the kind of bottom left of the photo, there's a chair, and that's where I would have been sat. So just to give you an idea where we were sat at all. And the whistle came from, if you look to the right of the photograph, you can see the bar area with the pumps. We all agreed that that's where that whistle kind of came from. So where we were situated in the bar, you can hear, when you play back on the recording, when you can hear Dave whistle and those couple of seconds, and you then hear that whistle, you don't hear anything else then until Rachel says, "Did you hear that?" And then you hear me follow that up with basically, "Well, yeah, Dave just whistled again." And because that's exactly what it sounded like. Or if it wasn't Dave, it was either Rachel or Damien. The point is that it was a human whistle that sounded exactly the same as what Dave did. So there was no need for me to have commented or aroused suspicion for me to say, "Oh, did you hear that noise come from over there?" Because it sounded exactly like one of them. And where I was sat, I just thought that the whistle or that sound carried, and it sounded like it came from a different part of the room. But it was that exact and that the same sound, the same whistle, the same tone, that it had to be one of them. I was 100% convinced it was. That's why I didn't comment, because I knew it had to be one of them. And then to be told that neither of those whistled, and then for my brain to process and think, well, yeah, if it was one of them, it would have sounded as if it came next to me, but it came from the other side of the bar, which we all agreed. For your brain to process that, it's such a surreal moment when you're trying to put all these pieces together in your head, which for me, again, is just a mind-blowing situation to have been in, and to now again analyse everything and think about everything, literally impossible. For me, out of all the investigations that I've investigated and been on, the certain activity that I've witnessed through the years, that this, as far as real-time activity, is up there in amongst the most fascinating and the most incredible that I've witnessed to date. I can't wait, and I know the rest of the guys can't wait to get back in there, hopefully be able to experience what we've experienced this time round.
Can you whistle? Can you copy this?
Did you hear that?
You just did that again, did you, Dave?
No.
No.
You whistled-
Shut up.
Whistled the first time and the whistle came back. Where's Lee?
I heard that single whistle then.
Yeah, I do.
But thank you so much for watching this video. I know that I often go off on a tangent and ramble on sometimes, and this video could have been cut down literally into a couple of minutes, but I just want to cram as much as I can and explain as much as I can, as I know that there's a lot of you that question a lot of things, or thinking this, thinking that, and it's just try and talk about that and bring us a lot of these factors into it as possible to eliminate everything, and for me to show you and present to you such an incredible piece of activity that I'll probably not get to witness again. Hopefully that I do, but as far as activity goes, this is definitely one of the best pieces of real-time activity that I've witnessed and caught as evidence as well.